Motivation and inspiration. What's the difference? Let's talk about it today. So 2 nights ago, I had the privilege of seeing one of my favorite mentors, idols, one of my favorite people on the planet, Dr. John Demartini. He's been an inspiration to me in pursuing my path and pursuing my potential. And what I've learned from his courses over the years is that we are all meant for greatness and we all have amazing gifts within us. And so I would say that his program and his ideas have led me to coming up with this idea of pursue your potential. And I heard him speak on Friday night. He did a lecture. And I would say that some people would consider his talk a motivational talk. And I would say I would consider it an inspirational talk. And here's how I want you to see the difference between motivation versus inspiration and why one is temporary and one lasts longer and is more effective. So, over the last few months, I knew that 2017 was going to be a big year for me. I was going to put myself out there to the world, and I didn't know exactly how that was going to look. But I felt a calling to create something that I could share my knowledge and inspiration with the world. And that something at first, I've mentioned this before, it looked like a 90-day health program. I was going to create a 90-day health program that I could share with the world. And when I sat down to do the work, I was completely uninspired. I had a lack of inspiration. I didn't know, the know-how was there. I knew what I wanted to teach, but I did not have the desire to sit down and do the work. And I thought, because I was a chiropractor and I knew about health, that I thought that is what I should be teaching. So why couldn't I get motivated to do it? And why didn't I have the inspiration to sit down and do the work? So I want to talk about motivation first. Motivation is not a solution. It's temporary. You may have gone to some seminars and Monday morning you get to the office and you are motivated to go, and you tell everybody what you learned and you're like, I'm going to implement this, and then by Friday everything you learned is completely faded. It's because you had a temporary dose of motivation that has now worn off. It was an outside force that was telling you what you should be doing. Your soul doesn't agree. Your soul needs inspiration. Your soul finds inspiration. Inspiration comes from within. Inspiration, it comes from within. And I believe that when we're truly inspired to do something, then we will go through whatever lengths that we have to go through to make that something come true. My podcast is a perfect example. I have been there's no lack of inspiration when it comes to creating these episodes. I'm fully inspired. I can come up with content and I'm ready to share my thoughts and ideas with the world. But there's a technical aspect to creating a podcast, and I had no idea what I was in for. But as I was creating this podcast, I ran into these technical difficulties and I was stuck. I was stuck for 3 days. It was so frustrating. I would sit there and I would try to figure out this missing link that I had to come up with to submit it to iTunes. And it wasn't working. And it was so not working that it was leading me to a whole different website. And I'm so not technical savvy that I can't even explain what was going on, but I knew it wasn't right. And so this technical issue was very frustrating. But I sat back and I said, okay, if I can't figure out how to do this, I'm going to hire someone who can, because this is not going to stop me. I am inspired to share my message with the world. I am inspired to watch this Pursue Your Potential program explode. I am inspired to keep going at no matter what it costs, no matter how much energy it takes, no matter what the cost. I am inspired within. Nobody has to motivate me to do this. Nobody has to remind me that I need to go make a podcast episode. Nobody needs to hold my hand and tell me what to do. I am figuring it out, and I'm pushing forward, and I'm gaining momentum. When you're not inspired to do something, you need someone to remind you to do it. I will use our kids, for example. Two teenagers, 14 and 17. They need motivation to do their chores. They need a push. They need a shove. They need a reminder. Don't forget you need to cut the grass today. Don't forget you need to clean your bathroom today. Don't forget you need to vacuum today. We have them do a lot of chores at home. But every time they have chores to do you think they do them on their own? Absolutely not. They need us motivating them to make sure it gets done. And I bet you can think of some things in your life that you need motivation to do. But what about those things in your life that you don't need anyone to motivate you to do? What are those things in your life that you are truly inspired to do? I would say for my husband, he's truly inspired to work out. If he could go fishing every day, he would. He is inspired to do yoga. He's inspired to wake up every morning and put one foot in front of the other. He doesn't need outside motivation to tell him to get out of bed. Sometimes I do. I love sleeping in. I am inspired to sleep in. I love the way my bed feels. He motivates me, and he actually inspires me too. But my point is that when you truly have inspiration that's coming from within, that is your soul talking to you, and it permeates everything you do.